I'm Layla. Welcome to Raidlore Stories. Today's lore story is going to be for a Husk, an oldie but a goodie epic champ. So normally what Raid has been doing with epics is that the name tends to kind of be like an overall title. So I'm curious if that's what's going to happen, is if this like Husk is like a group of undead that have a similar kind of task, or if this is going to be strictly like an individual. So let's check out the lore story together. Among necromancers, there is no greater art than that of husk construction. To craft the perfect warrior from the bodies of the dead requires a skillful eye and a delicate touch. Not just any corpse will do. To craft an effective husk, one must scour a recent battlefield and select only the choicest parts from the newly slain. The arm of a swordsman, the legs of a shield bearer, the skull of a general, disparate pieces combined into a merciless whole. But finding the right pieces is only the first step in a grueling process. The body must be assembled according to certain rites and stitched together with thread woven from the hair of a hanged man. Armor and weaponry scavenged from barrows and tombs is then attached to the body by means of sutures and hooks. The most difficult part is saved for last. The wretched shell must be imbued with undeath. There are many possible methods of accomplishing this unholy deed. A necromancer can employ the vital forces of the natural world, often in the form of lightning, to fill the husk with motive power. They draw these forces into the carcass using forbidden technologies or taboo rituals, and then trap them within the husk. Or they can use a variety of elixirs of restoration made from the blood of demon spawn or skinwalkers, combined with various alchemical tinctures to infuse the monstrosity with something resembling life. The most common method, however, involves trapping the souls of slain warriors and magically fusing them into cohesive, if not entirely stable essence. This is also the most dangerous way of accomplishing the empowering of a husk. If the magics binding them falter for even a moment, the fused souls will attempt to rip themselves apart, inevitably leading to the destruction of the husk, or worse. Such an occurrence often results in the tormented husk running amok, slaying its creator, going on a rampage until it is destroyed. While the majority of husks exist only for a short period of time due to being composed largely of rotting bodies, some persist for years, grotesquely outlasting even the putrefaction of their own flesh. One such husk was the creature known as the Butcher. Crafted from the remnants of a skirmish between a band of orcs and Karok soldiery by an ambitious necromancer, the Butcher was set to slaughter more warriors in order to assemble a stockpile of fresh parts for its master to experiment with. In the weeks that followed, it slew dozens of foes, orc champions, knights of Karok in service of the Sacred Order, who were actively hunting for the husk's creator. It took pieces from each person it killed, using the gory trophies to repair itself. The necromancer hoped to create an army of husks, of which the Butcher was but the first. But the souls that empowered the Butcher grew more fractious with every battle, and it became less and less responsive to its creator's commands, though the latter paid little attention to this, being more concerned with creating more husks. Finally, there came a day when the Butcher turned on the necromancer, tearing him asunder with his bare hands and destroying his lair in an orgy of bloody violence. Those who had been hunting it and its master assumed that it had perished with its creator. But it is said by some that the Butcher continues to roam the battlefields of Karok and the surrounding kingdoms, mindlessly consuming its collection of body parts in order to keep itself functioning. Wow, okay, that was an interesting story for Husk. So there was a couple of things that kind of like stood out to me. So kind of like I was saying in the beginning, it seems like the Husk again is kind of a group, right? It's these abominations, I guess you could say, that necromancers rise up, and that's why we see like all these sutures. So there's like a couple elements of almost like Frankenstein, like that story is in there. Also, talking about the Butcher gives me like Diablo vibes. I don't know if anybody else kind of like caught that as well too. Really interesting. But guys, I would love to know, what you think of the lore story for Husk. Drop me a comment down below, and thanks for watching.